What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B Hot Radio. Shout in as always. I got my podcast partner off in this thing, the original hot boy himself, Mr. YNT.
Whoa, what it do, man? You already know, man. Cooling. You heard me as usual.
I mean, Turk, we got a friend and a family member to the show stepping off in the building. Some might know him as a music executive.
Yeah.
Some might know him as a manager.
Yeah.
Some might know him as a podcaster off in this thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Ray Daniels, what's good with
Thanks for having me.
What's
Thanks
up,
for having me.
what's up,
Beehive. I kind of feel like I was one of the Beehive's first. Like I did an interview with Beehive. Maybe it was like at least 13 years ago when you was first starting. I was telling my partner Chastity about you, and I was like, he was the smart one. He was the one saying, I'm gonna do an interview off hours. Obviously, everybody wants the morning show, but he would call you and be like, Thursday at 6, you meet me up there. You meet him up there. You do an interview. And he was putting it online. I was like, he figured it out before anybody else. So I want to give you kudos for that, bro.
Hey, appreciate it,
like
man.
You are the first to me real like black on the podcast space media voice. Like you are the one that paved the way for Bank, me, Ball. Nah, seriously, bro. You should hear that because a lot of times we don't like to do that. You know, even with DGB, they still came after. Like you was 13, 14 years building your base.
But no, Ray, the funny thing is you was right there with me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bank was right there with me. Turk was right there with me.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't build these bases talking about my damn self. I had to have some people to come in and talk to me at the same time.
But the thing is that, but what I'm saying is what you did was smart was you was able to leverage that Hot 107.9 was a platform for you. You could have easily just been the guy trying to move up in the platform, move up in the business, but you was like, let me carve out this lane, so I'm gonna do the interviews for you guys because their only monetization model was audio. So it ain't like you did nothing wrong.
Well, see, the thing is,
at the time, the monetization was audio.
Well, see, the thing is that it was the education that kicked in.
Yeah.
Because see, I had hit a glass ceiling, Ray.
Exactly.
I couldn't go to another show if I wanted to because nobody allowed me to do it.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? And at CAU, we call it find a way or make a way.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And the way that I made was internet radio, which was what I had learned in school. And what I'm teaching now is this is the future of media altogether. So when I see my podcast partners such as Turk and yourself doing y'all thing, we only doing the right thing and moving the culture forward. But I'm glad we in the forefront of it because we can lead it in the right direction. We in the same place hip hop was when it began.
Exactly.
Trying to make the culture better and move it forward before all the craziness comes in.
You need somebody who done been in the game to push the game. You know what I'm saying? There's too many people that's trying to push the game and ain't been in the game, and a lot of people getting it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of you, Ray, and I just was telling B, man, I've been trying to get on this show, but I ain't know how to go at him.
That's
I ain't
easy.
know how to get at him.
Okay, Terry, let me tell you. I want to tell you something. I gotta say this on record. You would, if anybody out there mess with me, you can get on the show anytime. Now I want to say that I'm saying that this not like anybody, obviously, you know, but like I could recite the man sitting to my right's lyrics right now. Right? Because, you know, when you were a kid and, you know, like the Hot Boys was living a life that every young 16, 17-year-old kid wanted to live at the time. So we lived through them. So, you know, like we was like using their terms, like if you ain't no hot girl, you know what I'm saying? But that was them that made that up. You feel me? So, you know, it's all the same. But for me, you won't believe how many people have run up to me and been like, man, bro, you fucking me? And I'm like, of course. What do you mean? Why you invite me to the show? I want everybody to hear this. I am a Virgo. Can let me teach you something about Virgos. I don't know if you know Virgos.
I take it personal.
I want to tell y'all something. A real quick 30-second story.
Take your time.
And I want to shout out Stanza from my team. She was an intern. And she told me, she came to me and I was like, I want to do a pod. And she came to me and I was going to do a pod called Combos with Goats. And I told her, and by the way, that's why I'm bringing it back into my mix for something else I'm doing. But I told her when I was doing it, I was like, I don't want it to say Combos with Goats because what if they don't show up for me? And she was like, why wouldn't they show up for you? They are friends. I called my closest friend, one of my closest friends, who's like literally went out and been out telling people how Ray changed his life, But when I needed him to do a show, he was like, it ain't time for that for me right now. My head is here. And you know this from me from a jump. And I want you, Beehive's my witness because you just get to know me. He'll tell you, if you call me, I'm there.
Facts.
Right or wrong. If you hit me and say, I want to do it, I'm there. Done. It ain't even like it's not even like a question because all I got is my name. And if I can't honor you as a young brother who has played a role in my childhood, in my life, then who am I as a man? Then I can't get mad at someone else. So I give the world exactly what I want in return.
Come on.
I hit Beehive. Beehive called me and we were just talking. Me, him, and Spinny was on the phone. And I was like, yo, I need to do y'all shows. And here I am.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just one of them things where it's like, my door is open. If you want to come through the door, just hit me, hit somebody, my door is open. I literally created different shows because I'm like, well, maybe I could do this with this person because I have so many people. And then I'm in the music business, bro. Like I hit my man Arnold Taylor. Shout out to Arnold. He did this show. But then Arnold is like, yo, I want you to do Tootsie and Baby, but I want you to talk to me too.
Yeah.
And by the way, why wouldn't I? I am Arnold.
Come on.
So you see what I'm trying to say? So it becomes like, well, damn, how can I talk to you about, because you're a GOAT.
Exactly.
But then you have this new artist you want me to talk about, and they're not. So how do I brand? So I had to create Artist Spotlight. So a lot of it was just creating avenues for people's voices to be heard on the same platform without feeling like, because you know how this is, it's very hard to make a 2-hour, 1-hour interview interesting to the audience. It could be interesting to me, but to the audience. So a lot of it is just that. But bro, anytime. I'm saying on record, anytime. Chastity's right there, anytime. Anytime, I'm down.
Well, Ray, let's get straight to it, sir. Okay, this music industry, the mergers of all of these labels, the downsizing that's going on, hip-hop kind of shrinking at the same time and not being the same force that it used to be. What are your thoughts on this stuff, man?
Okay, so I'm glad I didn't even know he was gonna go there. I thought he was gonna talk media, but I like he's smart. That's why I like him. That's why I like his show. He pulls out the best of me. I'm like, I think we're gonna go somewhere else. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is scary times.
Yeah.
It is it's scary times, not for everybody, but for black people. And the reason why is because music has served as everybody in this room way out.
Yeah.
That's how important it is now. Not only did it serve as our way out, your kids in college, right? You got wife and kids, wife, kids, wife, kids. So it's like music has allowed our families to live lives that wouldn't have without music. So now they're shrinking the business. Pay attention to what they're doing. How do you bring in, like, it's like LeBron is the GOAT, right? Everybody loves LeBron. It's like, imagine saying, we're gonna bring in this guy over here because he understands data to play LeBron's role. It's like, it's not that they did it. It's not that they did it. Listen, it's that they didn't care how we would feel. So you bring in this, by the way, Elliot Grange, from what I know about him, is a genius. It is nepotism in there. It is nepotism in there for sure, but some kids are fuck ups.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you could get your car to the keys, your kids the keys to the car, and they can fuck it up. He didn't. We got to give him kudos for that. But you got people in Atlantic, like, and Atlantic is the 3 labels in my business that are like the beacons of greatness is Atlantic Records,
that's right,
Interscope Records, and Republic Records.
Come on now.
Those are the 3 labels that have you. Those are the 3 labels that never had turbulence. Even when Jimmy left Interscope, he still was able to pull in his successor.
That's right.
With John Janik. So Jimmy handed him the keys. It wasn't like they said, bye, Jimmy, we bring him. They're doing that to these people, so they're telling us we don't care about how y'all feel. So now you got people like Kaiser, who's been running the company 20 plus years, all of this, and you put somebody, you made a 30-year-old kid who has no interest in our culture. Now he has interest in the business of our culture. It's a difference, like seeing the business of our culture, but the people run it. The people are what I mean by run it, where the people make it go. You could tell he has no interest in the culture of it all. By the way, he don't have to. He don't have a responsibility to it. Kaiser does though. Lonray does though. Marsha does though. Those people do. And now they put somebody above him. Now what happens when his politics and their politics clash? What happens when he says, I don't want to do that no more. This is what we doing. They want them to fade out and leave. So to me, it's the blatant disrespect of the black people who have put in work that you put above their head. So to me, but then you gotta look at it like this. They also got Ed Sheeran, they got Bruno Mars, they got Lizzo, they got all these pop artists on that label that now have to talk to this guy. And this guy is a new music executive. And there is a old music executive approach that is out there that we don't have no more, so I'm scared for us. And I'm also scared for us because we're not gonna have no more jobs. They looking at AI. And you know, the problem that we did as black people, I'm not gonna say black people, the niggas did, it's like when you start making money, you start bragging on how much money you got, and you start bragging on how much you robbed niggas and took niggas and got niggas and this. I'm talking about not niggas on the street. I'm talking about like them companies.
Yeah.
So when Jay-Z says, I'm not leaving Def Jam till I'm $100 million man, blah, blah, blah. He said, by the way, Hov is way different than what I'm speaking of, because he was also telling us how to hustle still. Exactly. He was telling us his hustle in real time.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about these now guys who are in the business, that are in place, who are like basically like, yeah, y'all want me, like, I get this is what I mean. I want to make it clear. I want to give you clear examples. Somebody goes viral, right? They song went up on TikTok. Now everybody's looking for them. Now at that moment, instead of saying, they can say, hey Turk, man, you on fire. What do you want? It's two ways he can go. He can either go and say, here's what I'm building. Y'all gonna help me build that? They see you totally different. But this is how niggas came in the building. This the other way. Yo, man, you going crazy, what you want? Pull a bag up, Brinks truck. You're gonna back that Brinks truck up. Now, mind you, they're gonna sit in the room and smile with you, like, ha ha ha, Brinks truck. Yeah. We're gonna give it to you. But when you left that room, you showed them who you were.
Exactly.
Every time something good happens, you're gonna want a check.
Exactly.
And I don't want your check every time something good happens. I want my piece.
Exactly.
That's what I want. I don't want your check. So now they've been able to control us, feed us. Okay. Ain't none of these rappers have gotten royalty checks. They only get advances.
Exactly.
And advance is just another excuse to put you in more debt and spend money on your name. That's the part they don't acknowledge.
Exactly.
Right? So you thinking you robbing them. No, you're not robbing them. You basically just gave them your valuable property and said, keep it for that much money until I pay you back. But you've shown them you have no interest in paying them back. So what they gonna keep doing? Just keep keeping you in the hole.
Exactly.
And while their market share goes up, their kids run the world. And now we look at our kids like what's left for them. So for me, it's a really scary time. And I'll tell people, if you are figuring this out, you need to figure it out now. Do not worry about the music industry ecosystem anymore. It is done as we know it. It is done. Worry about your ecosystem.
Come on now.
So, because when your ecosystem depends on going in that building and getting a check from that building, by the way, the Turk character that says, I want to build my business, he don't have to worry about that, because he didn't care about nothing. He was like, he literally said, man, that's a beautiful building. But I got this little house I'm building. I'm going to turn it into a building one day. And if you guys are going to come in here and give me some resources so I can build my house, done. Meanwhile, this nigga over here is like, give me the bag, the bag, the bag. All he's doing is going around fucking women, spending money, buying jewelry, buying cars, buying clothes, not telling his people anything.
Going to jail.
And he got to always going to jail, and he got to always go back to that building to get a check. Meanwhile, he has his own house.
Exactly.
So like when they huff and puff and load the houses down, you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm in an amazing position, but I'm also in an amazing position because when I was in a position where the industry made it feel to me like, all right, Ray, you either gonna kiss our ass or you gonna go home. I was like, well, I'm going home to Atlanta.
Come on.
Where I might not need as much as you need in New York or LA. I can survive in Atlanta on $300,000-$400,000 a year, and I can make that in my sleep.
Come on.
Unlike LA, $300,000-$400,000 a year, you still renting your own, none of that shit.